Hello and welcome back in New York. And so we leave in a rush. Funny, considering what she told me about being in a hurry yesterday. We're here. She thanks the chauffeur and lets me out of the car into a quiet neighborhood somewhere in Queens. Seemed like you were in a rush. I couldn't stand the crowd. She's honest, probably performatively so, just to get into my good graces. Well, it's working. And why is that? In my experience, gatherings like those always enable a boring pack mentality. All of the familiar lies we tell ourselves to justify lusting for more, repeated ad nauseum. I think Julia would ask about that. What lies are you telling yourself? Her aura immediately turns colder. You have bigger issues to worry about, sweetheart. Oh well, at least now I know how familiar I can get with her. That was kinda obvious, wasn't it? That I do. Back at the art hall, you said something about guiding me, but I have zero idea what to do. None whatsoever. I had a few necessary arrangements to make over the phone before we got here to ensure your pretty little head stays attached to your neck. For now, anyway. I am grateful, but I still feel way out of my depth. I need to know what to do. You used to make a living as an investigative journalist, did you not? Investigated a murder. In TV shows where an investigative journalist gets too close to the heart of a politically incendiary case, it really goes well. A cat's head on their porch, a bullet to the head. So, are you afraid that you might be a pawn in a game you don't understand? That your elders consider you a disposable asset? That a single wrong move might cost you everything you hold dear? That sounds about right, yeah. Well, by the sounds of it, you understand your situation perfectly. Don't belittle me. I need your advice. Be anything you want, but don't be boring, Julia. If I wanted to belittle you, I wouldn't drown you in platitudes long ago. Know thyself. Believe in your strength. Trust no one. Act confident. Turn the chessboard around and reach your opponent's mind. Read Sun Tzu and quote him incessantly. Say, do you feel any better now? Can I ask you something? Seeing as me I still not here, of course. Do you know who killed Baron Callahan? I haven't the slightest idea. Sure. Were you emotionally impacted by his death? Not at all. Did you know him? Only passingly, I'm afraid. I expected him to perish sooner than later, so I never bothered to improve our relationship. Why are you helping me? Am I? That remains to be seen. What do you mean? You do not want a painfully honest answer. But I do. She stares me down. Her irreverent tone makes it impossible to guess what she's feeling, even more so than the mask. When I look at you, I see someone pitiful. Someone whose hunger is purely biological, just an animalistic rush. Let's see what she thinks about hunger. Vampire's urge to feed. It overpowers all other needs, and trying to ignore it is said to be the easiest way to prime the beast. The dark, always blood-hungry passenger that accompanies every vampire's unlife for a hostile takeover. When I saw a burgeoning plan to put you in a situation that is way beyond your capabilities, I offered my help. I was curious to see your true colors reveal themselves firsthand. When everything is said and done, and Callahan's killer is pointed out, will you be a whimpering animal or a victor taking the spoils? I cannot wait to find out. I don't know what to say. Is she provoking me or... Mia should be here any second. You have time for one more question. I guess this is very much of a Yulia question, but she wouldn't really answer. What makes you important is very much of a Yulia question. Let's go with this one. It's a little bit rude, but that's how Yulia should be. What makes you? What do you do to hold so much sway over this city? I have the best occupation in the world, and I made sure nobody's better at it than I am. And that occupation is a socialite. And that was your last question. Direct the rest of them to her. A woman around my age emerges from around the corner of the street. Oh, hi! I remember you. I've never met her before, but if I had to describe her in 2 words by her aura alone, I'd guess those words would be permanently angry, even more so than your average anarch. So she's basically damsel. You must be Catherine Weiss. And you must be Mia Morgan. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. The pleasure's mutual. This your girl? Yulia Savinsky, the La Sombra primogen. The La Sombra representative. I correct her automatically. At this point, it's a habit. Good. If you were a primogen, I might have tried to kill you here and now. Is Torque still on the side? Nah, I told him I'd take it from here. By the end of tonight, he needs to look like a natural candidate for the leader of the New York City Anarchs. It's gonna take a lot of driving around and negotiations. How did he react to finding Callahan's remains? He hasn't exactly elaborated on his feelings, but I expect he reacted the same way every true believer in the cause did. It's this complicated mess of all the possible feelings under the moon. So he was the first one who to the murder site. Who was at the murder site? Or, I guess. Oh, so you're already calling it the murder site. Does the Ivory Tower know something we don't? It's not the official position, but I expect a lot of them think it's Torek who stood to benefit the most from the boss's death. And it sounds like he's quick to jump on new opportunities. You don't know him? Yeah, but I'd love to meet him and ask him some questions, especially if he was the one who found the body. Well, if you're meeting Torg at all, it won't be tonight. He's too busy. I was assigned to investigate. I won't be able to do it properly if I'm not able to question a key witness. I'll arrange for him to see you this week. This week? Aren't the tensions a little too high for delaying an investigation like this? Well, Turk's work is best shot at making sure they won't get hired, so boo fucking who. I'm his right-hand woman though. You got any questions, direct them to me. Maybe the 2 of you should just head to Callahan's office. The discussion here does not seem to be going in the right direction, nor in a particularly interesting one. You're not coming? Turk and you are not the only ones who have their work cut out for them tonight. I trust you can take it from here. And Mia, be easy on her. In slightly different circumstances, I expect the 2 of you would have ended up on the same side of the barricades. Uh-huh. Take care. She heads back to her vehicle. Well, follow me. I'll show you his place. Mia looks a little bit different. Like, I remember her from... Ooh. I remember her from Coteries of New York, and I feel like she looked a little bit less resigned from life. Like her humanity dropped by a few since then. It's 19th century style office. Classical, wooden, smelly. The stuffy air of books, old furniture, and dust covers much of the fragrance of decay, but not all of it. This is the first time I've seen the remains of a vampire who has met final death. I heard stories of really old kindred crumbling to dust, but that's an exaggeration, at least. It didn't happen here, because maybe he wasn't that old. Usually, the body turns into the same shape as it would be if it wasn't a vampire, and if you would actually die on the day of your embrace. And that means that, if you were just embraced 2 weeks ago, you would still kind of, leave a body, per se. If you were embraced decades ago, that would be a little bit more skeletonish, let's say. So Yeah, I am not very much of a Hekata. I'm not so knowledgeable about corpses, but this guy kind of looks like he was maybe embraced 50 years ago. I guess he would be older though. So I don't know. Yeah, again, I don't know anything about corpses. Sorry. When Kindred die, time catches up with them. If you offend me right now, I'd probably turn into an ugly, leaky corpse. Oh, if you offed me, not offend me, that would be weird. If you offed me right now, I'd probably turn into an ugly, leaky corpse. But Callahan was well over a century old. It's like looking at a dapper mummy. A desiccated body in a heap of musty clothes. All that is left of the mighty boss Douglas Callahan, anarch baron of New York City. If that's really him. Needless to say, it might be a little hard to establish the time of death or the cause, especially as his garb doesn't have any obvious damage. What a great place to start. Have you already found anything suspicious? Nothing you don't see in front of you. Uh-huh. This door is the only point of entry to the room, right? Yes, unless you count the windows, but nobody except for Callahan knew how to operate those, and they don't let air or light through. Metal blinders on the windows facing east, the only modern element of the room sticking out like a sore thumb. They look automated. Was the door open when Torg got here? Well, that's the one suspicious thing. It wasn't. It's as if Callahan locked himself in from the inside. A closed room murder, There's some glass scattered on the floor. I point at it. Could that be from the window? I check it from the outside. It's in perfect condition. So, what's this glass? I have no idea. Why does it seem like she has her suspicions, but is remaining uncooperative just because, fuck off, Camarilla scum? I check the next point of interest. A wall safe. Surprisingly large. I play with the lock a bit. What's the combination? It's Callahan's. What makes you think I know? At least I tried. A desk with nothing but an envelope on it. Nothing inside. I check all the drawers. Every single one has been thoroughly emptied. I don't know what I expected. Is this how the owners go around securing crime scenes? Were these emptied before Turk arrived? I don't know, but I wouldn't accuse him of tampering with evidence if I were you. Well, thank you. That's it's so much easier to investigate in the world of vampires, isn't it? So simple. Every single thing you do may lead to your final death, and you're just trying your best to remain alive. The decor of the room is pretty minimal, so there is not a lot of points of interest that could illuminate the case. I start getting nervous. I point at the painting on the wall. Of course, you have no idea who that is. Callahan's ancestor, I guess? I'm out of ideas. Everything I look at feels like another dead end. I'm frustrated. I feel as if I failed this investigation before it has even started. There must be something more. I start walking around, trying to find a single clue. Mia just watches me indifferently. Give me anything. Anything, goddammit. Anything. A shadow blinks in and out of existence, near Callahan's remains. I freeze in place. I'm afraid to speak up so I don't startle whatever or whoever that was. You down here? Doesn't seem like Mia noticed it. Give me just a moment more. She groans under her nose and goes back to messaging someone on her phone. When she does, the shadow appears again. Once again, blink in, blink out. Could something be there? I approach the clothes and start searching for them for a clue. Maybe they missed something. Getting desperate, huh? Just being thorough. We've searched the bastard like 3 times. He had nothing of interest on him. How about this? A small card, barely noticeable, looking a bit like a shopping list, is shoved deep into an almost invisible hole in the fabric. I take it out and show it to Mia. You didn't plan that there, did you? No, did you? Shove off, what's on it? It's a list of 4 names. D'Angelo, Hope, Agathon, Tamika. All the country members from countries of New York. Ah, that's so cool. Holy damn. Oh my god, it's going to be so interesting if it turns out that the protagonist of Countries of New York is somehow involved in this. Damn. Any idea what this is about? Beats me. She's lying, but I don't care. Tomorrow night, I will meet up with Kadir and ask him to help me figure it out. I think I'm done here. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. I feel like, yeah, it's kind of like weird that she has to be there during the investigation because there's a big probability that Anarch stood behind it. By the way, my daughter is like playing, so if you guys hear any sounds from there, sorry. She's doing like a little but yeah, I feel like there's a big possibility that Anarch just wanted a better Baron, so they would just eliminate him. It's just one of the natural like first suspects for me. It probably won't be that easy, but I'm just saying like it's a little bit weird that she has to be there. Guess she sees me as nothing more but an enemy agent. When will I get to meet with Torque? If, and that's a big if, he will agree to meet you on a one-to-one basis, Catherine will let you know. He probably won't let a loyal Camarilla lapdog like you see him without her oversight anyway. A Camarilla lapdog. It's a risky play, of course, and it might backfire, but maybe I'd benefit if I put my loyalty to the court into question. Not worth it. Playing for both sides sounds like a recipe for trouble. Just too risky and stressful. Pass. I mean, I can still play for both sides without actually trying to correct her here, I guess. I hope. We'll see. I know that this is one of the choices which will probably affect the gameplay, but I doubt that Yulia will be so quick to just jump in and out of like, hey, because like this would give me a hook for me, and she already seems like she's searching for hooks for me, so not so hasty. I see. Well, have a good night. I got an achievement for that. It's getting late, or early, depending on how you look at it. Once I leave Calihan's office, I head straight to Dakota's apartment. I try to sneak by to my bedroom, but she's up waiting for me. I'm checking out the shadows in the background. Someone told me to like keep a look on the shadows in conversation with Dakota, like going on in behind, because apparently like they hint something, but there's nothing I particularly see right now. How was your night? Shit. Tomorrow. What happens? You look like something the cat dragged in. Tomorrow, I promise. But I'm worried. Don't be. Tomorrow. She gives me a concerned look, then closes her eyes, slumps her shoulders and frowns. Alright. You're the best. I reach my pitch-black room and throw myself on the bed. The responsibilities, the stakes, the way I always feel too slow to react properly in these situations. I don't want to think, I want to turn off my brain, I want to drift into the void. Into the void, into the voids, into the void. Rest. You have received your first trait. Some choices in the game will push Yulia towards different ways of thinking, which will have a lasting effect on her throughout the story. You'll see a brief pop-up at the top of the screen anytime you receive a new trait. You can always view any unlocked traits in the lock screen, accessed through the top left icon. I wanna know... Loyal to the end is my trait. Interesting. Is that because like I decided to be loyal to the Camarilla, which I didn't fully... Like, I get it. I get what this prompt means, but I'm just saying that it would be actually like... It would be smart to move in this way, even if you're not loyal to the Camarilla, but that's okay. That's fine. Remember, the ruthlessness is the mark of a true La Sombra, but you might walk another path before reaching a destination. That's true. We might not be as ruthless as every possible La Sombra can be. Oh, that's so cute. You're adorable. Always told you you'd make it big. Get real. These assholes are just using me as a pawn in some stupid fourth-dimensional chess game. As opposed to just keeping you off the chessboard. Don't be a glass half-empty basket. Watch them make me a scapegoat or something. That would be exciting. I could write a book about living with a 21st century Lee Harvey Oswald. Come on, don't even joke like that. I haven't killed anyone. Yulia, honey, neither did Oswald. Yeah, right, I keep forgetting. Stop wrangling or I'll mess your face up. Ah, she's doing my makeup. Ah, sorry. I'm always obedient when she's busy working on my makeup. It's hard to take care of your appearance, especially your face, when you can't even see yourself in the mirror. Not that I've ever been particularly good at it, but Dakota doesn't seem to mind. I'm her goth dress-up doll. It's so cute! I want to be La Sombra and I want to have my own makeup cool. Her presence in my own life is one of the few good things that my sire provided for me before fucking off to Chicago. Normally I'd be told to find myself a ghoul, but many of our clan, myself included, finds the idea of ghouls distasteful. Let me just see very quickly. What you get when you give mortal your vampire blood without draining theirs first. An underling, a toady, a thrall. My clan don't really like to use them. Really? I mean, that's interesting. I never actually thought of La Sombra as a clan that doesn't like using ghouls. Maybe I interpreted them wrong, but they are always like very much, you know, like they could use ghouls in so many situations. So yeah. Anyway, Hal Karen thought the very concept was beneath her and refused to explain it. Okay. We're cat people, not dog people. We don't want mindlessly faithful servants. We want companions who rely on us, despite having, in theory anyway, the free will not to. I would argue that so much. The kind of relationship I have with Dakota would normally be a breach of the Masquerade's rules, but the rules are different for kindred who are Camarilla adjacent, even losers like me. Simplifying here, but my sire made it clear that her child would not own slaves, and that was the end of the discussion. To be honest, I think the court mostly agreed to that request because they wanted one more thing to blackmail me with, just in case. What would you do in my place? If I had to investigate your allies' wrongdoings? Yeah. I'd probably look for those rich fucks pedophile rings. Look for the assholes who mention pizza suspiciously often. See who has powerful friends in Manhattan jails, stuff like that. Oh, come on. No, I'm serious. Search for the deep rot, and a lot of smaller crimes will get solved in the process. What is it with you and conspiracy theories? What do you mean? You just told me your bosses are having eyes wide shut parties, and suddenly you don't believe in rich people's pedophile rings? I don't know if I want to know. My point is, you act as if all the conspiracy theories are real. Like, you can't possibly believe all that shit. How if it doesn't even make sense? Well, you want an interesting answer or a real answer? The real answer should be the more interesting one. She removes her brush from my face to gather her thoughts. Everyone's lost nowadays. Just look at the world. It's drowning in facts that fail to cohere into a single convincing narrative, or a story that resonates. The corporate media want you to believe in empirical thinking, but it always fails to deliver moral or metaphysical truths, and the people desperately like those. So what do? They turn to conspiracists, and suddenly they are able to navigate the world. And why is that? Because conspiracy theories give them emotional truths that serves as a compass. Is Bill Gates trying to insert satanic microchips into my body? Probably not. I hope not. Now, is he a terrible person? No idea, but there's ample evidence that might be the case. It's in his ruthless business strategies, the company he used to keep, the philosophies he follows. People look at him and they feel he's fishy. So when the media present him as a genius or a savior, and I post that he wants to put the mark of the beast in my body, they choose to believe me. Because it makes moral, emotional, and metaphysical sense to them. And ultimately, that's what matters the most. The end. I don't buy it, like, at all, but since it's you saying it, I will just say it's cute. Good enough for me. You came up with this monologue yourself? Oh no, I read it on Facebook. Oh, figures. And just to make sure, vaccines are okay? Well, as far as I know, they don't cause autism. Thank you, video game. Good to hear. Anywho, I'm done. You're the best. Yeah, considering how many times I've done makeup on a dead body, I probably have enough experience to be a mortician by now. No, that sounds like an exciting career, but in reality, it is probably the most boring thing under the sun. Yeah, I like my corpses talkative, pouty, and self-loathing. Shut up. This carcass will be leaving now. It's got a job to do. Go get him, Tiger. First thing I need to do, meet up with Kadir tonight and report to him. I hope he knows how to guide me out of this mess. Should have time for me in an hour or two. In the meantime, I suppose it's time to find some... what's the most dehumanizing word I could use here? Nourishment. Kadir told me I'd need to quench my hunger less often if I didn't smoke. It kills you, he said, but to start killing itself, your organism must pretend it's alive, and that uses up precious vitae. But I love cigarettes. The way they smell, the way they burn, the hot ash falling down the top, the sound from the lighter. The way they kill you, of course. And I guess I need some tactile connection to who I was back when I was alive. Okay, New York City, guide my steps. Show me which one of your children I should drink up tonight. Who do we have here? Diva's Delight, a fitting name for a kiss addict and audacious enough to openly pitch her unique taste to those in know. I'm not in a clubbing mood, but since I need to feed, might as well give that rumor a shot. Samira is asking me to meet her. If not for the ongoing celebrations, the patrician would prove an odd choice for a secret rendezvous. Here's hoping she can provide some useful insight into the case. The note left as my old dead drop point reads, Bunny as a reporter. Shit, could it be Woods? Long time no see. What does one do when the ghost of Christmas past knocks on her door? That sounds interesting. But that sounds even more interesting. I'm going here. A clean-cut staff member dressed in an impeccable company uniform smashed me at the elevator as the elevator opens. I like this painting. That's cool. Good evening, ma'am. Meeting someone? I dismiss his question with an apathetic shrug. He sizes me up for a brief moment, visibly questioning my fashion sense. However, his professional acumen quickly trumps his discontent. Very well. This way, please. New York City's nouveau riche seem awfully starving for a gourmet soup this late at night. The patrician is packed almost to the brim. The concierge points me over to the last vacant table, conveniently situated in the far-off corner of the main hall. I nestle in the chair, letting my elbows rest on the ornate tablecloth. Watch out, oblivious white collars. There's a black widow in your midst. Well, I'm here. Might as well just kick back and die of boredom. Yeah. I really need something to occupy my mind. Call the concierge, figure out why Samira asked you to come, have a smoke, and examine the place. I would like to have a smoke. The pretentious atmosphere gradually begins to creep under my skin, straining my mind and dulling my awareness. I take a peek into my trusty medicine pack. 2 cancer sticks left. I casually light one, paying no mind to the scornful looks of nearby patrons. The aura enveloping this place is suffocating. Everyone here seems to be so incredibly toffee-nosed. I haven't heard this expression before, but I really like it. Toffee-nosed. As if they were destined for greatness by sheer virtue of their birth. Airs and graces everywhere you look. An adorned hamster cage where everyone is trying to either suck up to their betters or get their asses kissed by overeager underlings. The fact that I find this so pathetic is probably part of the reason why I never amounted to anything. C'est la vie. As I take another whiff, I notice a well-groomed staff member, the manager I guess, gazing at me from behind his horn rims. He's competent enough to keep up appearances, but I can tell he's on the warpath. Able him until he yields. There's something about this guy that rubs me the wrong way. I nonchalantly exhale clouds of smoke and return his menacing look. He just turns his back on me as if nothing happened. As I continue to scan my surroundings, I notice the concierge answering a phone call and frantically jotting down a note. Good. Get back to work, buddy. Just as the thought of leaving crosses my mind, he glances at me briefly before hanging up. The concierge quickly closes in on me, dancing habitually between the tables, and addresses me before I can even utter a single word. Excuse me, ma'am, are you Miss Savinsky by any chance? As soon as I nod, he hands me a carefully folded memo and leaves. For how quickly he scribbled it down, the note is impeccably calligraphed. It reads, "The manager of this establishment insulted the Camarilla's authority with his negligence. Even though it's minor, his transgression must be penalized. I would like you to assist me in this matter. Such a display of goodwill on your part would surely improve your standing with the higher-ups. Choose an appropriate, non-lethal punishment. S." Ooh! Well, this is disappointing. It was a high order to expect any help with the investigation, I guess. Instead, just another core. But it's a fun core, come on. The best I can hope for is that this really is just a friendly request, and not a deliberate attempt to derail my work this early in the game. Damn it. Might as well get it done since I'm already here, so I can move on with more pressing stuff. I swiftly approach the manager and tap him on the shoulder. He furrows his brow as soon as he notices me. "I'm afraid I am busy. One of the waiting staff should be able to." "We have something to discuss. The VIP lounge. Now, if you please." His face loses color. Maybe it has dawned on him that I'm even paler than the other, more blue-blooded guests. He merely becomes compliant as I escort him through the side door. The room isn't empty, but its guests are just leaving. Nobody pays me any attention. The manager is as polite as he can be as he sees the patrons out, but I can see he's clearly losing his shit. He quietly asks one of his staff to give him 5 minutes in the lounge, and gingerly closes the doors behind him. Then the pleading starts. "Listen, I know I screwed up. I shouldn't have let him in. How could I know he's not one of the proper clients?" I don't give a... Listen, hey! "I would never... I implore you, I have children, for Christ's sake. There must be something, an arrangement, a way to..." He just goes on as I'm not even here. With each subsequent whimper, he becomes more and more irritating. Lash out. Explain. Let's try to explain. Just shut up for a goddamn second. My outburst finally makes him hold his tongue. I light up the last stick in the package and take a slow puff, trying to compose myself. "I have no use for your explanations and justifications. I don't know what sort of transgression you've committed." "I should never have let this sensory guy in." "And truth be told, I don't give a shit." "It will never happen again, I swear on my mother's grave, just..." I'm not that good of a judge of character, but him pleading with his arms out really makes him look like the biblical wayward son, swearing to change his ways. Brand him? Holy crap! If I let him off with a warning, it's not going to... Like, lash out is kind of like... I guess that's going to end up brutally. Brand him... I mean, that's ruthless. That's what La Sombra would do. Let's do it. I grab his hand in a tight grip, palm up, and take a puff to rekindle the burning tip of my cigarette. He doesn't fight back. You and I both know they will want proof that I gave you a lesson you won't forget, so I hope you realize that this is mercy. Put my smoke out in the palm of his hand to the accompaniment of his muffled screams. His eyes become watery, but other than that, he takes it like a champ. If I have to come back to this shithole, the next one will go right here. I look him in the eye and crassly flick his eyelid before taking off. I mean, I wasn't too brutal, I guess. Just a bit. I didn't know I was capable of this sort of cruelty, but here we are. Karn warned me that there was something in Bloodline finds sniveling weaklings detestable. Is that what triggered me? But that's a conundrum for another occasion. I mean, how I interpret it, this is Darwinism in its, like in its peak. Like, you're La Sombra, you want to survive. You know that the game is the game, and you gotta play it to survive. So you better play it right, and you better, like, do something. You won't kill the guy, so it's not like completely giving up to your beast, but you gotta do something in order to make sure that your job is done. So I feel like this was perfectly fine in this particular situation. I feel like La Sombra would do that, and it wouldn't be too bad for them, I guess. Alright, I'm gonna go here. I wanna check out what's happening in there. Honestly, sweeping through Evergreen Cemetery in search of Nigel Woods was the last thing I expected to be doing tonight. It's Nigel, right? Not Nigel. It's Nigel. And yet here I am. The past refuses to let me out of its grip, even for a few days. Hell, a black limo almost ran me over on my way here. I just can't get a break, can I? Takes me less than a minute to find Nigel. He's standing next to the gravestone of John Bunny, one of the most famous actors of the 1910s. I really like this graphic, it's beautiful. Why there exactly? Well, the man is paranoid, which is why we were forced to come up with such an unpredictable method of choosing rendezvous points. He had to be ambiguous enough to seem incidental to a casual onlooker, but reasonably uncomplicated so that this dumbass couldn't mess it up. So we decided on silent film actors. Whenever he wanted to meet, he left me a note with an obscure movie title. Then I only had to look up who starred in it and make my way to their final resting place. Yeah, maybe it feels somewhat goofy and unnecessary, but it's also been fun. And ridiculing Woods for his paranoia would be a classic case of the pot calling the kettle black. There he is, idling away his time on his smartphone, rapidly swiping left with noticeably increasing frustration. Too many girls who actually know what they want from life in a row, Nigel. Don't worry, I'm definitely not that type. When he sees me, he reacts as if he's just seen a ghost. A regular comedian. The man holds a few feet away from me and crosses his arms, giving me a dirty look. What the hell are you up to these days, Savinsky? Too busy for your old pal? You never write, you never call... He puts on this completely unconvincing frown, but quickly loses it, bursting into sincere laughter. Shit, used. I'm gonna lie, it's good to see you. Looking good, gal. I mean, you're still all doom and gloom and even paler than usual, but I always had a soft spot for your bunny ass. Come here, give your uncle a hug. Give him the look. I've worked with Nigel long enough for us to settle on some basic nonverbal signals for improved communication, by which I mean signaling him to get his shit together. I'm surprised to find that it's still an instinctual thing, as if my mortal body adapted to it so well in the past that it reacts the same way even now that it's dead. I guess it was a high humanity option. Alright, I get it. And to think we used to... You used to what? Cut to the chase, Woods. That wasn't a social invitation, and I only have so much patience for your innuendos. What do you want? Still quick to get it right. To get right to the point, huh? Very well. I've been trying to put together a piece on some particularly unseemly business in the deep web. One of my plaques pointed me in the direction of the double spiral, saying that... Double spiral. Am I even surprised that name keeps coming up again and again? It still kind of haunts me. Of course I made sure it would. I still keep tabs on Montgomery from time to time, constantly reliving those 16 months I slaved away for nothing. Might have been just another part of Karen's hazing ritual, but I have a feeling that even if that wasn't the case, Brian would still be told to kill the story. Some dirt on this internet whiz goes by the name of Hope. She supposedly has had some close dealings with the Montgomery clan. Ever heard of her? Ooh, damn. Hope is a Malkavian coterie member from Coteries of New York. She's the one that does those very weird live streams. Yeah. Not an expert on the concept, can't say I'm familiar with the person in question either. I'm lying, of course, feigning apathy. The name strikes a chord, being one of the 4 jotted down on Callahan's list. Coincidence? Cather insisted I shouldn't believe in these. As far as I can tell, she's mostly involved in some kinky porno stuff involving scopophilia, body maiming, lots of blood. Shit's borderline occult. My cover's blonde though, I think someone's after me. Still, I've got a few useful leads, which I'd happily exchange for some Benjamins before I go AWOL. Interested? Knowing him, those few leads are completely worthless, but with his luck, he really might have strayed into dangerous waters. What's useless to him might prove useful to me. If I play along, he won't even know I'm no longer in this line of work. Did you expect me to buy your intel sight unseen? No dice, Nigel. Break it down for me. I won't screw you over. You know me better than that. He sighs audibly, sizing me up and down. After a brief moment, he raises his voice again. Alright, what do you want to know? Whatever your porn-addicted ass considers to be value. Nigel closes his eyes, pondering where to begin. No, this might sound complicated, but I can send you some helpful YouTube videos later, but here we go. For the next few minutes, Nigel explains his findings while desperately trying and mostly failing to make them sound like something more than dumb urban legends. Among the many threats, he mentions blood trafficking, secret turf wars, a coven of Masonic lodge types, the biblical flood, and businessmen consorting with the devil in search of immortality. To common ears, all of this would probably sound like some Basel conspiracy theory, but from what I can gather, he's flying dangerously close to the sun. At the moment, he doesn't know jack shit and has no proof of anything, meaning he doesn't pose any real danger to the Masquerade. But his conviction in following every possible lead was what made me work with him in the first place. God damn it, I'm not sure if I can just let him go. You know, Nigel, I actually watched your friend John Bunny here portray a reporter in one of his silent pictures. In the film, he disguised himself as a woman and infiltrated a secret suffrage meeting. Of course, he fucked it all up and got chased up by a tree by an angry axe-wielding liberationist. This kind of journalism makes infinitely more sense than the bullshit you're spouting right now. Sorry. I know how it sounds, Yules, but I have this itch in the back of my head telling me there's more to it than it seems. And you know my sixth sense hardly ever fails me. I think it's horseshit, and I'll leave it at that. So what about that Hope girl? Got something worth pursuing? Maybe. She's an enigma, a total fucking mystery. The only thing I'm certain of is that she exists and enjoys streaming for an exclusive audience. Supposedly she's into cryptocurrencies, you know, those like bitcoins things. I could never make any sense of it. It's a scramble, I know, but I promise you that somewhere within lies a juicy story for someone like you to pursue. Hell, I have a hunch that if we join forces, we might really hit it big this time. Thoughts? This poor idiot. This intel of his sounds like a cheap pulp novel. No one in their right mind is going to pay a dime for it. It will ruin his credibility if he still has any. If he persists in spreading this bullshit, it will probably completely neuter his ability to harm us, eventually. But if the Ivory Tower gets wind of his activities, Kader is going to get involved. He's going to ask questions. And the answers will get both me and Nigel in trouble. You're awfully quiet, you'll speak up, you're creeping me out. Oh, I mean... I don't think that's... okay. So, the game might interpret what I do as a lower humanity, more kind of like a, again, La Sombra move. But advising someone to escape in such case, especially someone so curious like a freaking journalist investigator, first of all, may not work. Second of all, may still bring doom upon his ass. Third of all, may still bring doom upon my ass. And in general, like, rewriting his memories in this particular case doesn't have that many possible negative outcomes as just letting him escape. Both for him and for myself as Yulia. So I'm going to go with that. I feel like it's, you know, it doesn't seem to me, maybe, it's not that bad, isn't it? Let's see. I'm sorry, Nigel, just a bit, but still. What? He freezes in place as I gaze into his eyes. There is no blood trafficking or secret turf wars going on in New York City. You have nothing on Double Spiral and there is no hope. You made it all up. The idea you have instead is a non-fiction book about toxic masculinity. You're going to do... You're going to do your research and you're going to pitch the book to everyone as a real expert on the subject. so funny for me because like the game was review bumped a lot by people who are just basically giving it zeros and ones on Metacritic and Steam, saying it's an SJW agenda game and stuff like that. It's just like so funny, you know. I imagine these people maybe getting to this point in the game and just fuming in front of their PCs like sorry. Draw distance, good job guys, good job. He stands there completely perplexed, suppressing layers of rewritten memories. With his mouth wide open, stuck in the bizarre pose, he looks like a total goofball. I can't help but snort. John Bunny wouldn't compare, especially if our guy really follows his programming and a comedy of errors ensues. He's going to recover in a couple of minutes, but I'm not sticking around. The streak has taken its toll on me. I can only keep my fingers crossed that it sticks. Best to bury the memory of this meeting along with the rest of my past. Alright, it's about time I head to see Kadir. And we're going to leave it at that. That was a pretty fun ending. I think like the choices we're making, they might lead us in a very wrong direction, but so far I feel like they are pre-Yulia, you know, like there's a healthy mix of her still being kind of humane, but also being kind of ruthless in some cases. So hey, I feel like it's all good. Let me know what you think about it, guys, and I'll see you in another one. Don't get lost in night in the meantime. Goodbye.